Today on Dice of Wrath, we're looking at Vagrantsong. Let's set it up. Vagrantsong is a 1 to 4 player cooperative boss battler. In it, you and the other players are on a train and you're trying to find out why you're there while fighting off ghosts. The action takes place on a board that consists of 3 different train cars. Each scenario has a different ghost with different goals and a different board setup and rules for each individual ghost. During a round, each player will do 3 actions and then a ghost will follow. After every player has gone and a ghost has followed all of those, the round has then ended. At the beginning of the round, everyone simultaneously chooses their actions using 3 action coins. Coins can be placed on basic actions or skills that have not been used on the previous turn. The basic options a player has are to move, patch up, which is heal, bust, which is punch, investigate, or to rummage. Rummage lets you grab a token from the rummage bag. Along the way, each player will start with individual skills and has chances to get more skills as they progress through the game. Multiple coins can be used on the same skill, which will either duplicate the action or can adjust the options for it, such as the range or the amount of damage, etc. Actions and skills are resolved by rolling dice and getting a target number or higher. This game also includes exploding dice, which when you roll a 6 or a booming boxcar, you can roll that die again. Every scenario, you are supposed to beat, kill, free a boss ghost by reducing their health to 0 multiple times. There are also 3 rituals, which are goals that significantly help you in this process. At the end of the scenario, there is a camp phase in which you can level up or heal your characters, get more upgrades, and get little story bits that tie the scenarios together. Okay, so let's get in some shelf stats. How big is the box? The box is a little bit taller and deeper, but thinner than your average Ticket to Ride box. Setup time on this takes about 12 minutes for a 2-player game, and it takes up most of a 3x3 section, as you can see here. Now this is for 2 players, and there is plenty of space left over for upgrades for your players, as well as the scenario book, which you would definitely have to have open and available, as this is where you can see the ghost moves for that particular turn. I had no colorblind issues with this game. Everything was marked clearly and with icons. Any color issues I had were with the actual health markers. As those don't matter, the color, it was not an issue. It's just purely a cosmetic thing. So no problems. As far as the time it takes, the game says 30 minutes per player. I say that's a little short. We ran 2 hours per game scenario, and we do run long on our games. However, the scenarios each have different rules for the ghost every single time. And so even though you may have the basics down, you're gonna have to have these different rules for the ghost, and that's gonna cause your games to take longer than average. What are some of the pros of this game? The theme for this is very interesting. You're on a train, you don't know why, your memory is foggy, you immediately run into these ghosts, and you're trying to save them by beating them up or freeing them from their ghostly realm to go to the afterlife, I assume. As far as the theme goes, the art in it is what really carried this. The acrylic standees highlight the art of both the ghosts and the characters, and even though you could have miniatures, I think this was a smarter choice because personally, unless you paint them, I think most miniatures just don't do justice to the art, in this case especially. Now in these type of battling games, line of sight can be an issue. There can be complications. It can be tough to figure out if you can see an item to hit it. The line of sight is very easy in this game. It's all orthogonal. You have so many spaces. Only thing that blocks it are boxes, and you can actually go around that, and if they're in range, you can hit them. Super easy, super simple. I also like the way health was done in this game. Every player has a different starting number of hit points, I guess you would say, and this is increased with skills or items that you get. As you level up, you get more of these items. However, when you get hit and punched and you get brought down to 0 hit points, you can break one of these items or flip them over, which resets your character's health to full. Basically, every item that you have is another time you could get knocked down to 0. This brings up some interesting choices as far as what do you break, but it was an interesting mechanic to increase the health of a person. Now, the attacks of the ghosts were both a plus and minus. Sometimes they felt very thematic. For instance, there was a ghost tree, like I said earlier, that had roots that would expand or that would tangle you up in them. That made sense, and just the name of it knew what you were doing, and you could picture that in your head. However, other ones are mainly they just do damage, or they do little things that don't carry the theme through. You tend to start to just see numbers and not necessarily picture what the thing is doing to you. Now, what are some negatives of this? One of the main things that bother me in this game is that the skills never seem to make me feel like a hero or make me say, this is an incredible ability, I don't care about the other ones, I've got to use this one, I gotta have this one, or oh my gosh, I can't choose which of these to keep. Just minimal upgrades to previous ones, or even side upgrades, lateral movements instead of an actual upgrade. And so because of that, that really became a thing that they were good for more health. That's it. You'd stick with 1 or 2 abilities because they didn't make much difference, and the rest of them you would be the ones that would break if you got hurt too much. The board and what's laid out on it does cause some problems over time with the game feeling too samey. You're exposed to most of the types of tokens within the first 2 games, maybe 3, and so everything after that you've already seen. There's no hidden items, there's no different things that you weren't expecting. Now, they may do something different in the game, but they still look the same on the board. It's just one of those things that over time on a campaign game gets too much of the same. One of the biggest problems I had were the rituals in this game. These are little goals that are given to you that help you tremendously. If you do not do these, you're pretty much punished and just have to sit there and punch and kick the ghost until they go away. This will significantly extend the length of your game and really is not a lot of fun. Sometimes the rituals reference items that you don't even have or can access, and you don't know how you're going to get those. Maybe it's through investigating something on the board. Maybe it's after a certain amount of time has passed, but you have no way of knowing that until you've gone through the scenario once. Now, randomness is a big issue with this game, as everything that you do, or almost everything you do, you have to roll the dice to see if you succeed. Now, that may not be too bad, as there are ways to mitigate that. However, the ways you can mitigate it are from little tokens that you've used or can get from the bindle bag. However, you have to draw the correct ones from the bag, and so you may never get an item that'll let you re-roll your particular skill because you never got the random item from the bag to help you roll the random die to get a result that you're looking for. So compounding randomness can be a big issue in this. Well, the final thing I'd like to talk about is some of the rules. The basic rules were fairly easy to teach. There's not too much to them. However, every scenario has different rules for the ghost. There are different rules for what happens if a ghost runs through you. There are different effects that happen when the ghost gets killed every time. And of course, there's all the different events that can happen by investigating things. These changes make the rules different every single time you play, and this can definitely cause problems. Vagrantsong is a game that I really wanted to like, and it isn't a bad game, but it's not a game for me. It's too long for what it is. In this game, I don't get enough upgrades that make me feel powerful that make me want to keep playing the game. the upgrades are very, very incremental. And because of that, there's not enough between games, story-wise, and not enough upgrade-wise that make me want to play the next game. Because I know in the next scenario, I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna do whatever the ritual tells me to do, or I'm gonna punch the ghost until it's dead. And there's not enough strategy in either of those to make it interesting enough for me to continue through the game. I didn't complete the campaign, but I played enough of it to know that I didn't want to complete the campaign. Every time I thought about getting out the game again, I just thought, it's a lot of time. And I'm just gonna feel that that time could have been used playing better games. If you like randomness and are okay with that, and you really like the theme, then this game might be for you. But definitely take a look at it and be aware, of what you're getting into. And beware, it's a lot of the same. Anyway, that's my thoughts on Vagrantsong. If you liked what you saw, just like and subscribe down at the bottom. If you didn't like what you saw, like and subscribe down at the bottom. But leave a comment either way. I'll talk to you. It's not a problem. Everyone likes different games. This one's just not for me, and that's okay. Anyway, see you next time.